In our last video, we showed you how to make a very basic project using just a couple of patterns. In this video, we're going to take that same basic project, add some more to it, as well as do some optimization and turn it into a really interesting project. So here's our basic project. Let's start out. Remember, to get it face on, we can just click front here. Let's go over to our drawing tools. These are our basic drawing tools. You have squares, rectangles, circles, ovals. Just grab a rectangle for right now. Okay? We click on that and then click on the board, hold the mouse button and drag to your far corner. When you release, you will have your rectangle visible there. Now, up in our view toolbar up here, we can click on this one here, which will essentially show us our constraints. And that's going to allow us to see the dimensions of this right on there. And those actually are editable there. If you click on one, that box will open up. You can hit escape to make that box go away. You can also use your centering tools to go ahead and center that up. Now, I might point out that all of these tools I've been showing you are also available if you use the right click. So you can just simply right click, and all of the functions that are available to you with that will generally show up in your right click. So I can just right click and click center. I've now centered that. We can then go up to our carving tools, and we have this tool right here, which is Carve Region. We click on that. It is going to go ahead and drop that whole area down. It drops it to a default depth of 1/4 of an inch, which is actually what we're going to use right now. You could change that, of course. But this is a very quick way to create a carved out region. But right next to that, we have another one here. This is our surface selection. If we click on that, it's going to pop us up. We have surfaces, which are essentially domes of different types. We have textures. These are geometric, so they're repeating patterns or textures. And then we have material. Material or organic. They are just interesting, like weathered wood, sandstone, different textures which you can actually clone and edit, change them up however you wish. Let's go back to texture real quick. Under textures, let's see, we'll go ahead and select one of these here. Yeah. Now here we can change the interval, so it's default showing up as an inch. We can change that to a 1/2 inch. And then when we hit OK, you'll see it pops that whole texture in there. Now, you'll see that texture is actually interfering with our patterns. You'll see right here, it's coming on up through there. Well, just as with any pattern, everything has a depth and a height. So we can take that height and push that way back to shove that deeper into the background. And there you can see, no longer interfering, becomes much subtler. We might want a little more than that. We can also at any time click on our surfacing tool and edit that interval. If we want to make that different, we can go ahead and just click on that and change that up very quickly. Now let's go to our carving list. So sometimes when you have so many, or you start to get a number of things, it's easier to go over to the carving list, which is on the right hand side. It is the top tab, and then you can just select the items over here. You can also, using the shift key, select a whole group of them, and then using this button at the bottom, or again using a right select, you can make a group. That then makes it easy to select. Click to the front face here. Now, you've noticed that I pointed out that you can use the balls to dimension, but everything always has these arrows. This is actually a group box. Everything, even if it's only one piece, will have a group box show up. But when we look at a whole group, you'll see that the group box is here as well. And we can actually size that entire group by grabbing those arrows on the group box. And as long as we don't have something that is constrained or locked in with a dimension, we can do all of the things that we could do to an individual pattern with our group box that it'll apply it to the entire group. Let's go ahead and undo that though. But I did want to make it a little bit bigger. And let's go back to our background. We don't ever want to have this cliff edging coming in here. Your carving bits generally are tapered, and you're going to get a much better appearance if you ramp that in. So we can go ahead and apply a feather here, and let's go ahead and put a 1/4 inch feather on that, and you'll see that then results in a very nice ramping. We always want our carvings to kind of ramp in and ramp out. It just makes for a much better, more attractive result, and it's much easier on your bits and your machine. Now, you'll notice that that feather is in a group which we call, let me grab these here, which we call optimization. So one of the most important things is going through looking at your feathers and your bit optimization. Now, just as you look at these icons here, you'll see with none, you'll see the bit is pushing all the way down. So you think about the point of the pattern. That bit is going to try to put the tip of the bit on that point, which means it's going to eliminate material from around the boundaries of your pattern. So you always, in most cases, you are going to want to set your bit optimization to best. So you can kind of see just looking at the icon what it is doing there. And if we look at the patterns here on the screen, you'll see if I undo versus when I redo, I've kind of thickened everything up. So it's not allowing the bit to eliminate any of the original data from that pattern. Now, if we change to a larger ball diameter bit for carving, it will use that bit then, and you'll find that it'll mute the pattern more. Versus if we use a smaller bit, then it's going to sharpen up even further. Generally, you will put bit optimization on pretty much everything. To start out with, it's just good practice because you're going to end up with much cleaner carvings that way. As you get to know your software, you're doing things like making molds. There are times when you do not want to use a bit optimization. The thing to keep in mind is, particularly on very large carvings, bit optimization, it is actually taking and applying that bit to every surface here. So it will add more time in your regeneration, particularly on large boards with higher resolution. So always apply your bit optimization after you've done your preliminary design. You've got it pretty much looking the way you want. So just to make your workflow go quicker. Now here in optimization, we have another element here, and that is draft. Now draft does again kind of what the icons look like. If we put a large, let's go and grab our Fruit here, and let's put a large draft on this, which is going to exaggerate this. You'll see how it kind of ramps out around it. Now on this Fruit we definitely don't need this, but there are times when you do want to make that kind of feather out or up. It's kind of an inverse feather, I guess you could say. And most of the time when you want to do this is when you've got little skinny pieces that are poking up. A lot of times with text, you'll get very small pieces, and with wood, those little pieces standing up will just chip away as it's being carved. So you want to kind of give it a ramp up, kind of like a pyramid, to reinforce that and keep it from chipping out. Here you can see, again, with just a few minutes, we've taken our very basic pattern and turned it into something far more interesting. To compile, you simply go to Compile Board for CarveWright or Raven. All other machines, you're going to go to Compile G-Code. We're compiling for a Raven in this case, so click on Compile Board. That's going to give us the option to select a jig if we want, or go with a no jig. Again, if we go with no jig, then it's going to note that we're carving much further out towards the edge, so we are going to need a larger board here in order to keep it under rollers. And you can see our quality on this, in good, we're going to be about 38 minutes to carve this. On best, about twice that amount of time. This one I think would actually look great at good quality.